Question 1. In a modern context of deploying a Citrix ACK in a hybrid cloud environment, Sarah notices intermittent SSL handshake failures when clients connect through a public IP mapped to a private backend service. Which configuration adjustment would most effectively resolve this without altering backend server SSL settings? A. Configure SSL bridge instead of SSL flood. B. Enable session reuse on the SSL virtual server. C. Disable client authentication on the ACK's SSL profile. D. Increase the idle timeout on the TCP profile. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Enabling session reuse allows ACK to re-establish secure sessions with reduced handshake overhead, mitigating handshake timeouts in hybrid latency scenarios. Option A may bypass some ACK optimizations but doesn't solve handshake reuse needs. Option C reduces security unnecessarily without addressing handshake instability. Option D only affects idle connections, not handshake failures. Question 2. Considering the evidence during a half failover test, Ahmed finds that the newly active Citrix ACK appliance serves outdated write policies, causing incorrect URL redirections. What is the most likely reason? A. The policy bindings were not synced because HAPROP was disabled. B. The write policies were configured globally rather than on a specific vServer. C. The failover triggered a DDoS delay. D. The write policies were attached to a traffic profile. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. HAPROP ensures synchronization of certain runtime configurations like write policies between HA nodes. If disabled, the secondary node may lack the latest changes. Option B would still sync if HAPROP were active. Option C applies to GLB, not local write policies. Option D is irrelevant. A binding method doesn't prevent sync if HAPROP works. Question 3. In light of recent developments in SSL decryption regulations, Jacob's organization must maintain end-to-end encryption but still perform content switching-based URL path. Which approach best meets this compliance requirement? A. Use SSL flooding with content switching policies. B. Configure SSL bridging and enable content inspection policies. C. Apply write policies directly on encrypted traffic. D. UHTTP callouts to an external content inspection service. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. End-to-end encryption prevents it from inspecting payload without decryption. HTTP callouts to a compliant inspection service allow decision-making without breaking compliance. Option A terminates encryption, violating requirements. Option B still decrypts at ACK. Option C is impossible since write needs decrypted content. Question 4. When evaluating the merits of compression, Priya observes EPU which spikes on her Citrix ACK when compression policies are applied to all MIME types. How should she optimize performance without disabling compression entirely? A. Restrict compression to text-based MIME types. B. Increase the compression memory pool. C. Enable integrated caching instead of compression. D. Configure an additional compression policy with higher priority. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Compressing binary or already compressed formats waste TPU cycles. Limiting compression to text MIME types reduces load while maintaining benefits. Option B may help memory but not CPU usage. Option C serves a different purpose caching. Option D doesn't solve CPU overhead. It adds more processing. Question 5. Given the circumstances, Maria is deploying GLB between two data centers with asymmetric bandwidth. The high bandwidth site must receive more traffic but still allow failover to the other. Which method is most effective? A. Use the round-robin method with persistence. B. Use the least connection method. C. Use the weighted round-robin method with appropriate weights. D. Use the static proximity method. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Weighted round-robin allows traffic distribution proportionate to site capacity while maintaining failover capabilities. Option A treats all sites equally. Option B bases distribution on active connections, not bandwidth. Option D uses client proximity, not capacity. Question 6. Through careful analysis of authentication logs, Tom sees failed user logins due to invalid vServer policy evaluation. What should he check first? A. Ensure the policy binding priority is correct. B. Confirm the AV server IP is reachable from the client network. C. Verify that the LDAP server is configured to allow anonymous binds. D. Check the SSL certificate on the EV server. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Policy evaluation errors often stem from incorrect binding priorities or mismatched expressions, preventing proper selection of an authentication server. Option B would cause connectivity errors, not evaluation errors. Option C is insecure and unlikely to be the root cause. Option D affects SSL handshake, not policy evaluation logic. Question 7. In comparison with static caching, Ravi is considering integrated caching for a high-traffic e-commerce site. Which factor most strongly justifies integrated caching over server-side caching alone? A. Integrated caching reduces server CPU load by serving responses directly from a memory. B. Integrated caching improves SSL handshake performance. C. Integrated caching eliminates the need for load balancing. D. Integrated caching ensures all responses are always fresh. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Integrated caching stores content in app memory, reducing backend processing and improving response times for repeated requests. Option B is unrelated to caching. Option C is incorrect. Load balancing is still required. Option D is false. Caching conserves stale data unless configured with strict expiry rules. Question 8. At the heart of this issue, Carlos finds that his Citrix drops TCP connections during peak load, despite CPU and memory being within limits. Which factor is most likely responsible? A. The TCP surge protection threshold is too low. B. The system's heartbeat interval is too short. C. The link aggregation group lag is misconfigured. D. The SSL certificate chain is incomplete. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. ECP surge protection limits new connections when under load. Too low at threshold can drop valid connections even with available resources. Option B. Impacts hostability, not connection drops. Option C. May cause throughput loss, but not selective drops. Option D. Would cause SSRs or TCP resets. Question 9. Throughout the course of troubleshooting slow response times, Emily sees that compression is enabled but traffic is still large. What should she check next? A. Verify that the server responses match the policy's content type conditions. B. Increase MTU size on the IC. C. Enable TCP window scaling. D. GLB to route users to closer site. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. ECP window scaling improves throughput over high latency links, making compression benefits more noticeable. Option A ensures compression applies, but doesn't solve slow transfer on long-haul links. Option B may cause fragmentation issues. Option D helps only in multi-site setups, not within single delivery path. Question 10. From a practical standpoint, during firmware upgrade planning, Hassan wants to ensure minimal downtime for a pair of ACs in HA. Which approach is best? A. Upgrade the secondary node first, failover, then upgrade the new secondary. B. Upgrade both nodes simultaneously during the maintenance window. C. Disable HA before upgrading to avoid sync errors. D. Perform a forced failover before upgrading either node. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Standard HA upgrade best practice is to upgrade the secondary first, test failover, then upgrade the other node, ensuring continuity. Option B risks total downtime. Option C causes unnecessary reconfiguration. Option D disrupts traffic prematurely. Question 11. While examining a Citrix deployment for an online banking application, Daniel observes frequent session drops for mobile clients during network switching with LTE. Which configuration best mitigates this issue without significantly increasing idle times? A. Enable session persistence with source IP hashing. B. Enable TCP, keep alives, and adjust timeout settings. C. Use content switching policies to route mobile clients separately. D. Disable surge protection for mobile IP ranges. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. TCP keeper lives maintain active session awareness even when clients change networks briefly, preventing premature drops. Option A fails because source IP changes when network changes. Option C routes traffic but doesn't prevent drops. Option D could cause resource exhaustion without solving connection stability. Question 12. By evaluating integrated caching statistics, Olivia notices that cache hit ratios are low despite popular static resources being served repeatedly. What is the most likely cause? A. The cache policies are not bound to the relevant load balancing vServers. B. The cache expiry time is set too high. C. The compression feature is disabled. D. The Citrix ADC is running in L mode. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. If cache policies are not bound to the correct vServers, the app won't cache responses for those flows. Option B would increase stale hits, not low ratio. Option C is unrelated. Compression doesn't impact cache matching. Option D affects routing, not cache logic. Question 13. From multiple perspectives, Rajiv must apply different security headers to different domains served by a single ACK. Which feature best allows this without creating multiple SSL or servers? A. Write policies with expression matching on the host header. B. Separate ELBA servers for each domain. C. GLB to distribute based on domain name. D. Integrated caching rules targeting specific URLs. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Write policies targeting the host header allow adding or modifying headers per domain on the same vServer. Option B uses more resources. Option C is for multi-site traffic distribution, not header modification. Option D handles caching, not security headers. Question 14. When analyzing HUSync issues, Liam finds that recent certificate installations on the primary are missing on the secondary. What is the best next step? A. Enable manual sync and reapply changes. B. Check that the sync for SSL-related objects is enabled in HU configuration. C. Reinstall the certificates on both appliances manually. D. Restart the secondary node. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. SSL objects require explicit HUSync settings. If disabled, new certificates won't replicate. Option A won't ensure ongoing sync. Option C is manual and inefficient. Option D is unlikely to fix missing configuration data. Question 15. In the absence of proper DNS configuration, AESOV is intermittently resolving to the ROM site during testing. Which adjustment would address this without affecting other DNS records? A. Configure Evia for GL-bound queries. B. Shores and DLB domain. C. Use weighted least connection for GLB. D. Enable Ednan's client subnet support. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. DNS views allow responses tailored for specific queries, preventing unintended resolution for other records. Option B only affects cache freshness, not incorrect resolution. Option C changes balancing logic, not query resolution. Option D affects proximity-based responses, not mismatched site resolution. Question 16. To illustrate this point, Mir needs to block SQL injection attempts without impacting normal form submissions. Which ACK feature is most suitable? A. Web app firewall with customized SQL injection signatures. B. Responder policies dropping all queries with select in the payload. C. Integrated caching to filler SQL keywords. D. Compression policies targeting suspicious requests. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Web app firewall with tuned SQL injection signatures provides targeted filtering while reducing false positives. Option B is too broad and disrupts legitimate requests. Option C cannot filter payloads. Option D is unrelated to security. Question 17. At the heart of this issue, Noah finds that SSL transactions are slow after enabling OXP stapling. Which factor is most likely responsible? A. The OXP responder's latency. B. Mismatched MTU settings. C. Outdated compression dictionaries. D. Surge protection thresholds. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. OXP stapling requires timely responses from the OXP responder. A high latency that delays SSL handshakes. Option B affects packet fragmentation, not handshake delay specifically. Option C impacts compression efficiency, not SSL. Option D limits new connections, not SSL speed. Question 18. The traditional approach to HA upgrades has been criticized for risking downtime if the secondary fails post-upgrade. Which alternative method reduces this risk while still minimizing service disruption? A. Use a 3-node HA cluster and upgrade sequentially. B. Temporarily disable HA sync before upgrading. C. Upgrade both nodes simultaneously in a rolling reboot. D. Failover manually to a standalone node before upgrading. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. A 3-node HA cluster allows sequential upgrades with a fallback node always available, reducing risk. Option B risks config drift. Option C risks downtime if both nodes reboot. Option D lacks HA protection during upgrade. Question 19. The core principles of TCP optimization suggest that certain profiles work better for long-haul, high-latency links. Which adjustment best improves throughput for such scenarios? A. Enable TCP window scaling and increase initial congestion window size. B. Lower the ECSS to avoid fragmentation. C. Enable LACP on all interfaces. D. Disable delayed ACKs entirely. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Window scaling and a larger initial congestion window allow more data to flow before waiting for ACKs, boosting performance over high latency links. Option B may prevent fragmentation but doesn't inherently increase throughput. Option C aggregates bandwidth, not latency handling. Option D can harm efficiency by increasing small packet flow. Question 20. From a historical standpoint, Ethan wants to ensure that his ACK always serves cached static resources during backend outages but still refreshes them when available. Which policy setup is best? A. Integrated caching with serve stale option enabled. B. Write policies with fallback URLs. E. GLB to redirect to backup site. EHEP callouts to static content provider. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Serve stale ensures cached resources remain available during outages while refreshing when backend is up. Option B is less efficient for many resources. Option C changes site entirely, not individual objects. Option D adds latency and complexity. Question 21. Through the lens of a multi-tenant Citrix ACK environment, Sophia needs to prevent one tenant's load balancing configuration from affecting another's. What is the most suitable approach? A. User admin partitions for each tenant. B. Assign unique VLANs per tenant without partitions. C. Configure policy-based routing for each tenant. D. Deploy separate virtual IP ranges under one partition. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Admin partitions logically separate configurations and resources, preventing cross-impact between tenants. Option B isolates at layer 2 but not at configuration level. Option C controls traffic flow, not configuration scope. Option D still allows overlap in shared settings. Question 22. By comparing integrated caching hit ratios, Liam notes that cache invalidation is too aggressive, causing frequent backend requests. What's the best way to improve efficiency without risking stale data? A. Increase global cache expiry time for all objects. B. Implement content group-based caching with tailored expiry settings. C. Disable cache invalidation triggers. D. Enable compression alongside caching. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Content groups allow targeted expiry rules, improving hit ratio without stale risk. Option A applies a blanket setting, risking outdated content. Option C risks serving stale data indefinitely. Option D optimizes size but not hit ratio. Question 23. Despite the fact that his HA setup is stable, Omar observes occasional failovers triggered by heartbeat misses during link congestion. Which solution is most appropriate? A. Reduce HA heartbeat interval to detect issues faster. B. Use a dedicated HA heartbeat interface. C. Increase surge protection thresholds. D. Switch to active-active HA mode. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. A dedicated interface for heartbeats prevents congestion-related misses, improving stability. Option A makes false failovers more likely. Option C is unrelated to heartbeats. Option D changes heart mode without addressing heartbeat reliability. Question 24. While it is true that GLB can distribute based on proximity, Lucas needs to route traffic according to backend server CPU load in real time. Which method best accomplishes this? A. Round robin. B. Least response time. C. Least connection. D. Dynamic ratio load balancing. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Dynamic ratio LB uses real-time metrics like CPU load to direct traffic optimally. Option A ignores server load. Option B considers response time but not CPU directly. Option C uses active connection count only. Question 25. The underlying principle of SSL flooding is to reduce backend load. It, however, needs to preserve client IP visibility for compliance. Which method achieves this while still offloading SSL? A. Insert X forwarded for header HTTP requests. B. Use SSL bridging instead of offloading. C. Configure client certificates on the backend. D. Enable TCP multiplexing. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. X forwarded for preserves client IP and HTTP headers after SSL flood. Option B retains IP but doesn't offload SSL. Option C is for authentication, not IP visibility. Option D, optimize TCP sessions, not client IP preservation. Question 26. In summary of a recent incident, Prayer's EC failed to serve cached objects during backend outage because caching was disabled for error responses. Which configuration would prevent this? A. Enable serve stale for error responses in cache policies. B. Increase cache object expiry time. C. Configure GLB failover to backup site. D. Reduce cache hit-only mode threshold. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Serve stale allows cached content delivery during backend errors. Option B doesn't apply when errors occur. Option C shifts traffic but doesn't leverage cached content. Option D is unrelated to error handling. Question 27. In contrast to static ACLs, Noah wants to block specific malicious requests based on dynamic conditions like traffic spikes. Which feature should he use? A. Responder policies. B. Rate limiting. C. Priority queuing. D. Write policies. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Rate limiting controls traffic flow dynamically, protecting against DOS attacks. Option A. Blocks based on expressions but not rates. Option C prioritizes traffic but doesn't block malicious surges. Option D modifies content, not request volume. Question 20. During the process of troubleshooting SSL performance, Emily notices the ACK is repeatedly fetching intermediate certificates during handshakes. What's the best fix? A. Install the complete certificate chain on the ACK. B. Enable OXP stapling. C. Increase SSL session timeout. D. Switch to EXA certificates. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Installing the full chain prevents repeated retrieval from external sources, reducing handshake delays. Option B checks revocation status but doesn't solve chain fetching. Option C affects session reuse, not handshake latency. Option D changes algorithm but not chain completeness. Question 29. Historically speaking, Ahmed has used to write policies to redirect HTTPs, but some clients still write HTTP endpoints. What's the stronger approach? A. Add permanent redirect in backend application. B. Bind responder policy to drop non-SSL requests. C. Use load balancing monitor to enforce SSL. D. Enable SSL redirect in the TCP profile. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Responder policies can enforce immediate drop or redirect for non-SSL requests at the ACK level. Option A relies on backend, not ACK. Option C monitors service health, not enforce protocol. Option D doesn't exist as TCP profile setting. Question 30. From the perspective of security, ETA needs to allow API requests only from trusted partner IPs while still applying load balancing, which is the best configuration. A. Bind an ACL with allowed IPs to the Albergi server. B. Configure GLB domain whitelisting. C. Use rewrite policies to drop non-partner requests. D. Implement integrated caching for partner IPs only. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Binding ACLs at the vServer level enforces IP-based access control before load balancing. Option B applies to DNS level GLB not ELBA servers. Option C can block requests but is less efficient than ACLs. Option D is unrelated to access control.